Ciao ragazzi, today we'll be doing a ripasso on subject pronouns. Now this is a ripasso or a review instead of an actual lezione because we've seen this topic before. We've done this earlier in the year. But since we're going to be conjugating verbs soon, we need to review our subject pronouns so we know how to match up our verb. So you may remember that subject pronouns are most often used to replace proper nouns, usually people's names. For example, if I were telling you about my friend Matteo and how he helps out around the house, I could say Matteo lava I piatti, Matteo fa il letto, Matteo butta via l'immondizia, Matteo passa l'aspirapolvere. I'm using his name a lot. So in order to not sound repetitive, I can replace Matteo's name, once you know I'm talking about him, with the subject pronoun lui. So for example, Matteo lava I piatti. Now we know that we're talking about Matteo. I've established that. From here on out, I can use lui fa il letto, lui butta via l'immondizia, e lui passa l'aspirapolvere. So in this case, instead of saying Matteo, 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 I'm using the subject pronoun he. So lui is one of our many subject pronouns that we have in Italian, and today we're going to review them all. Anytime that we're talking about subject pronouns or conjugating a verb, we're using this chart. Now, it's really important that you learn how to read this chart so you know which form to use. This chart is divided into rows and columns. Now, the columns are singular and plural. Singular is if you're talking about one person. So if you're just talking about yourself, you are one person. So that's in the singular column. If you're talking about yourself plus some other people, like my friends and I or my family and I, that would be plural because now it's more than one person. So the plural column is on the right-hand side. That's when you're speaking about more than one person. Then you have the chart divided by rows. The first row is talking about yourself. So again, this would be the io form is talking about yourself. Io is singular because it's just you. But if you're talking about yourself plus another person or a group of people, now you're in the plural side and you're in the noi form. So see, you're just moving straight across, depending on if you're talking about one person or more than one person. The middle row is when you're talking to someone. If you're talking to just one person, you use the to form. But if you're talking to more than one person, you're going to use the voi form, which means you all, or we shorten to y'all. Finally, you have the third row, which is when you're talking about someone. So this is not including yourself, and you're not talking to this person, you're specifically speaking about them. This is also used when you're being formal, but we're going to ignore that for now because it's not going to be used so much in this unit. So speaking about someone, if it's just one person, if it's a boy, it's a he, lui, or a girl, she, lei. But if it's more than one person, you're going to use the loro form. So here is what you would use if you're speaking about to say, for example, my parents, I miei genitori, that would be the loro form. Or my friends, I miei amici. Or my cousins, I miei cugini. These are all plural because it's more than one, so you would be speaking in the loro form. You could even use this if you're saying more than one person's name. For example, Gina e Gregorio. Gina and Gregory. They. So you would still be in the loro form. So let's take a look at a few examples using this chart. Which pronouns would you use for the following people? Now for the first one, it's Marco ed io. So anytime you see that ed io, little signals and flashing lights should go off because you're talking about yourself, but you're also talking about this other guy, Marco, with yourself. So we know we're in the first row, okay, talking about yourself row. But since it's Marco and I, you're not going to be in the singular box. You're going to move across to the plural form, making it noi. Noi is our answer. Marco ed io becomes noi. Let's take a look at the second example. Tu e Giorgio. You and Giorgio. So in this case, we're talking to somebody. I know that because the first word there is tu. I'm talking to somebody. But it's not just one person. It's two people, in fact. It's you and Giorgio. So I move from the singular to form across to the plural voi form. And that's our answer, voi. Now, if I see somebody's name, in this case, Anna, I'm not talking to her, else I would see to. I'm talking about her. This brings us down to the third row. And since I'm speaking about Anna, and I know she's a girl, we're going to use the lei form. It's singular because she's only one person. But now for number 5, and I don't know where number 4 went, but for number 5, where it says Anna e Marco, it's Anna and Marco, I'm still talking about these people, so I'm still down on that third row, but since it's more than one, I have to move across to the loro form. Here's another example, I miei genitori. This says my parents. Now I'm not talking to them, and I'm not including myself here. So again, I'm down at that third row. I'm talking about my parents, and since it's more than one person, I'm in that plural side. So the third row in the plural column brings us again to loro. For number 7, la mia famiglia ed io. So here we go again with that io. I know I'm talking about myself. Now I'm all the way at the top again at that first row, talking about yourself. But since it's la mia famiglia ed io, it's not just me. I have to move across to the plural side where I come to noi. For number 8, tu e tuo fratello. I'm saying you and your brother. I'm talking to these people, so I'd be in the middle row, talking to somebody. I move from the tu form, since it's tu e tuo fratello, it's more than one person. I move from the tu form to the plural side, bringing us to voi. And last but not least, I miei fratelli, talking about my brothers and sisters, my siblings. I miei fratelli, this is plural, I know because it ends in an I. So I'm talking about them. I'm down at that third row again. And since it's more than one, I'm on the plural side. So third row plural brings us to loro. These are just a few examples just to refamiliarize yourself with our chart. If you feel like you're ready, you can move on to some Quizlet practice, and then ultimately you're going to take your assessment. But if you don't think you quite understand this, replay the video again before moving on. Ciao!